Folks, welcome back to Nostalgianomics. The hardest thing to do in any kind of investing is trying to predict the future successfully. This is all while having limited information. And it doesn't matter what kind of investing you're doing, it's always the same case. But specifically in this Pokemon space, I don't see a ton of people trying to do this. I see a lot of market talk out there, talking about things as they're happening or after the fact, right? Where it doesn't really do you any good. Like, it's cool to see the things moving. You'll have people come out of the woodwork saying, I knew that was going to happen. I have hundreds of those cards or hundreds of those boxes in my basement right now. I'm rich. And those same people say that every single move that happens, and surprise, surprise, they never become rich. Where's all that money? Where's all that product? No one really knows. But the hardest thing to do is talk about it before they happen and put your money where your mouth is and make the plays before they happen. So what we're going to do today is we're going to look back at a video I made about 2 months ago regarding the Scarlet Violet era and the top undervalued singles that I saw in the era. Now, spoiler alert, no, I didn't get every, best move we've seen in Scarlet and Violet. No, I didn't get every single right. But that is not what it is about. What investing is about is being right the majority of the time, and the things you're right on having exponential enough of gains to offset any of the ones that haven't moved or the ones that went down to give you an overall cumulative percentage growth. And so what I encourage everyone else to do, even if you're not ready to put your own money to work, maybe you start paper trading, right? Start writing down on paper, hey, I think these cards or these items are undervalued. Here's the date. Here's the price point. Here's the time frame. I think at this date or this price point is where they're going to be. And just kind of do that for yourself with no money involved. And it'll give you kind of that confidence to see that you can be successful at it and maybe start to put your own money to work in the future. Because it's going to be a lot more helpful than just looking at moves after they happen and saying, oh, I wish I would have done that. Or, getting online and lying about it and saying, oh, yeah, I did it. I just didn't want to tell anyone about it. I did it in secret. I have tons of these, And so let's go ahead and jump into this video and see, how I did. First off, we got to shout out today's video sponsor. It is lowpopping.com, guys. So Low Popping, as you guys know, they have something for everyone. Literally have all kinds of slabs, modern and vintage alike. They got sealed video games. They got sealed products. I mean, literally anything you're looking for collectible-wise, Low Poppin's got you covered. The other really cool part about Low Poppin', they're always buying, selling, and trading. So if you're looking to sell a part of your collection or you're looking to trade part of it for something else, they are open to that. If you're looking to reach out for something like that, you can find them at email at info@lowpopping.com or just reach out to them Instagram at lowpopping. The link for the website will be in the description in the comment section below. All right. So here's the video. It was called These Pokemon Cards Are Undervalued, Buy Now, ? Right? It was released 2 months ago. So you have a time frame and you're going to have the cards that I said, and we're going to see how the cards have performed. So I'm going to play the first clip and then we'll look at the cards. My undervalued cards are right here. I believe this Maridon and this Koridon are two undervalued cards, and I think so. I picked the Maridon and the Koridon for Scarlet Violet base. So we're going to go look at how those cards have performed in the last couple months. So here we go. Here's the Maridon, and here is the Koridon. So that video was made a couple months ago, back in May. And as you can see, it kind of spiked right after that video. Look, I can't take credit for any of this. I'm not some wizard of the market. But yeah, I did very well on this call. It was selling in around $14. And now we see sales near mint reaching all the way up to the 20s. It has dropped back down just under $20, but a very nice move on the Maridon, and the Koridon was the same thing. I mean, back here in the beginning of May, it was a $10 card. Now it's, up in the mid-teens, I would say. So, both these cards have seen a good 30, 40, 50% growth, which is really nice to see. So maybe not quite 50%, about 30 to 40% on those two. So that was the first prediction. It went very well. Okay. Next up. We are in Paldea Evolved. And so this Tyranitar being in the teens still, near mint, you can see it's still selling in the teens. I still think it's a good pickup at that price. All right, so you saw what it was going for. You've seen what I said. I thought it was a good pickup. I also talked about the legendaries and the starters. So let's see what I said here. These are the new legendaries. These are the legendary birds. These are the legendary beasts, legendary dogs, whatever you call them. These are the legendaries of Scarlet Violet. Qianpao, Chiyu, Tinglu, and Wo-Chien. So I talked about the legendaries, being the new legendaries of this era. I thought they were undervalued. And then I went a little further in this video and I talked about all of the starters, right? So I talked about, the Quaquaval, the Meowscarada, and the and the Skeledirge. So those were all the cards that I picked from Paldea Evolved. The starters, the legendaries, and the Tyranitar as being undervalued at this time 2 months ago. So let's see how those performed. All right. So the Tyranitar, it's done well. So, you know, this is around when the video was made right here. It was in the low 20s. It shot up in the 40s. Now it's settled in the mid 30s, but still very well. Low 20s to mid 30s. You did very well buying this card at that time. We have the Chi and Pao. The Chi and Pao has also done relatively okay. It was in the mid 20s. It saw a spike up, and now it's kind of back in the mid 20s. So I would say maybe you're up a few percent. Maybe you're about even. So nothing crazy on the Chi and Pao. Like I said, not all the picks were great, but not a crazy game there. It's only been 2 months though, so keep that in mind. The Chi-Yu, let's be honest, I got extremely lucky with it, right? Talked about it back here when it was $16. Shot up to like, you know, $40 almost. Now it's still selling in the high 20s. So I don't know, like 80% gain on that. Got very lucky with that spike, but you know, it was all based off a very real thought process of, I mean, I felt that the legendaries were undervalued. The Wo-Chien, next up, it's seen similar growth. So back at the beginning of May, it was like a $6 card. Now it's spiked up. It's selling for, you know, in the $9.15 was the last sale. So good, you know, 30%. 50% move there, I would say. Maybe 40%. It was in the high sixes. About a 40% move on the Wo-Chien. And then the Ting Lu hasn't seen much growth. $7, still selling the 7. So I don't know, maybe 5-10% growth there. Nothing crazy on the Ting Lu. Then you have the starters, right? You have the Skeledirge, which has seen a massive run up. So it was selling in the 12s back when I made the video. Now it's selling, you know, in the 14s, 15s. So a good move there. We have the Meowscarada, which hasn't really seen much movement. You could argue that it is up a little bit, but nothing crazy there. Maybe a few percent gain. And the Quaquaval has seen a massive uptick. So the Quaquaval back then was somewhere around the 550 range. Now it's selling in the mid 7s. So very good run up there, at least 30-40% gain on the Quaquaval. So, hey, those did pretty well for me, I think, overall. So let's move on. Let's move on to the next one. Obsidian Flames, I think, was pretty obvious, but I think this Ninetales illustration can be the big illustration of this set, kind of like, you know, the Magikarp or the Tyranitar or the, you know, Groudon is. So obviously, you know, I think Ninetales was a pretty obvious play. I don't think I'm like unique in calling this one, but yeah, I mean, it was available. I mean, you guys, everyone knew it was available. You could have bought it back when I made that video, right? I'm down at $5. Now it's already over doubled, guys. You're over 100% up on your money if you would have bought that Ninetales when I made this video. I don't know. Got lucky, right? Got lucky. It's all you can say at this point. You just keep getting lucky. Next up, we get into Paradox Rift. I think it's been getting crushed lately with the attention going to the Iron Hands. And guys, this is Gardevoir, right? This is the future. A lot of people corrected me and said that's Gallade. It's actually, if you look it up, it's actually a combination of Gardevoir and Gallade. That's what Pokemon actually says it is. So I wasn't technically all wrong, but yeah, it is kind of like a fusion between Gardevoir and Gallade. Futuristic form of Gardevoir. It's got the futuristic form of Tyranitar in back. I just think this card is undervalued for what it is. So I did say that was undervalued, and then I also talked about the Goldango and the Gimmighoul. So you trade the Gimmighoul is kind of all over the game, always giving you these Gimmighoul tokens, Gimmighoul coins. So basically, my 3 picks from Paradox were the Iron Valiant, the Gimmighoul, and the Goldango. Those are the cards that I felt were undervalued. So let's see how those did. Now, I don't think these did as well, actually. Oh, I skipped 151. How did I skip 151? I just completely skipped over 151. So I guess you'll take my word for it, or you can go watch the video. These Pokemon cards were undervalued. I basically, the one card I picked from 151 was the Giovanni's Charisma. I felt like it was the one SIR that was very undervalued. It was lower than the rest. And I don't know. I just think Giovanni Persian is such an iconic card. And this was, I think, before we heard anything about the Team Rocket set. So it wasn't like a play because of the Team Rocket. It was just I felt was undervalued. I think it's even a bigger play now. I think it's still a buy because I think the Team Rocket set will propel cards like this up in the future. But, you know, it's been doing relatively well. The video was made somewhere around here. So depending on when you got it into the spike, you could be up a little. You could be about even. So that hasn't been the greatest play, but I did mention that in the video as well. So let's take a look at the Iron Valiant. Iron Valiant. I mean, here it was, guys. I was talking about this in the video, right? I showed that chart in the video, how it was getting beat up, and you could have bought it right down here. This is where it was during the video. You could have bought it down in the mid-20s. It shot all the way up in the 30s, and it looks like it's actually selling. You know, there are some sales at 28. I don't know if there's shipping involved in those though. So it looks like it is selling though in the low 30s. So not a huge gain. Maybe you're up 10%. So not a bad call though. The Gold Dango, as you can see, this was another one that was beat up at the time when I made the video. It was at its lows. And so it was in the teens, and now it looks like it's selling in the 20s. So maybe another 10% gain there. And the Gimme Goal, same kind of story, depending on when you got in. None of these are going to be huge moves, but here's the thing. You're not down. You're actually a little up on them. And so I still think it's a pretty good calls on those. All right, let's move on to the next one. It was the Mew. So this one, obviously, it's probably getting more of a longer-term play. The full art shinies and Paldean Fates, they're a lot easier to hit, so it's hard to really have them gain in value. But it was one card that I chose that I felt was it's just so low compared to being a Mew. I think this is one of the most undervalued cards in Paldean Fates is the full art shiny Mew. And last up, so that's the card I picked from Paldean Fates. You know, obviously it's not performing the greatest. This is one I guess you could say I got wrong. You know, because back here in the video was made, you could have bought it anywhere in like the mid to high 7s. And now it's right back there in the mid to high 7s. Let's see, the lowest one listed is 750. So maybe you're even, maybe you're up a little, down a little. Just kind of a flat call there. The last call I made though, it's a fun one. It's a fun one. It's the Lickitung. This Lickitung, right? I mean, this Lickitung, $2 for this illustration. It's a great art. Lickitung, I mean, it's not like a crazy popular Pokemon, but a lot of people do know Lickitung. I mean, it was in the show. It was what, Jesse or James's Pokemon. So, I mean, look, I'm not saying this is going to be some big banger, but for $2, could this card be a $5, $10 illustration one day? Yeah, I think. All right, so I called Lickitung, and I don't know if you guys have been paying attention. Lickitung's been moving. Look at that. Look at that chart. So I made the video down here. It was like a $2 card. Now it rose all the way up in the 4s. You know, we're having, see, these are Japanese. Near mint copies are now selling in the 4s. 100% gain on Lickitung, guys. Could have made 100% gain. Now I get it. It's $2 to $4. Nothing crazy. But I just think that was a pretty obvious play that it was so undervalued out of the gate. And for the Pokemon, for the card, I mean, I think it was an obvious play. Do I think it can keep going? I do. I think, like I said in the video, I think it could be a $5, $10 card one day. I think it's good enough. But these were the plays I made. So if you kind of like take an average on the Lickitung, the Mew, Gimme Ghoul, the Goldango, Iron Valiant, Giovanni's Charisma, Ninetales, Quaquaval, Meowscarada, Skeletors, Tinglu, Wo-Chien, Chi-Yu, Chien-Pao, Tyranitar, Koraidon, and the Miraidon. I mean, here's the thing, guys. You can people always like do this. Well, Alex, you got lucky on the Chi-Yu, or you got lucky on the Ninetales, or whatever. It's like, here's the thing, guys. There's always going to be things that happen in the market that make you lucky, right? And then when things drop off a cliff, you got unlucky. But this is what real investing looks like, right? So this is what real investing is. You make predictions based on whatever kind of knowledge, expertise, whatever, you know, signs you see in the market, and you put your money where your mouth is. You put your money to work where you see those opportunities. And then as time passes, right, you're either proven right or proven wrong. You know, I've been doing this hobby long enough that my track record has been proven right, you know, over the long period. But look, you see me, even I got things wrong. Even there were some cards there that didn't really move that, you know, maybe saw some drops. But over the course of time, over the course of, you know, the scope of all the cards, you can also see we did very well. If you would have kind of made a mutual fund of every card I made in this video and put it all in a, you know, just bought the same amount of every one of them, you'd be very happy right now. You'd be very well up on your money. I didn't do an exact breakdown. But, I mean, the majority of the cards were all up 10+%. So I'm thinking you'd be probably in the 10, 20, 30% range, somewhere up there over every card, because even the ones I did bad on, you kind of broke even. But I urge everyone to do this for yourself. Even if you're not ready to put your money to work, don't get caught up in this game of saying, oh, I wish I would have bought that, or I missed out, or I'll get the next one. Or don't get caught up in this game of always watching just market content and watching what's happening right now. Guys, these are moving this week. Guys, these are falling this week. Guys, you know, it's like, try to get ahead of the game, because you're, you know, trying to buy into hype or buy in after things have moved. You're never going to be successful in this hobby. You're going to have to take risks. You're going to have to try to get ahead of the game. And the best thing I can do is just, you know, make calculated risks, right? Don't bite off more than you can chew. Don't make unnecessary risks that you can't afford. You know, obviously, if you don't feel like confident in your expertise of the hobby yet on what you think is going to move, and if you think you're going to be right, start on paper, right? Just start doing it on paper, see how your track record is. And then if you continue to have a good track record on paper, then start to put your real money to work. But this is all it is, guys. This is making plays. This is investing in the hobby. It's you know, making predictions, put your money where your mouth is, and seeing how they turn out over time. So this was kind of myself keeping myself accountable, and I'm gonna keep doing this. And guys, even if I get things enormously wrong, even if I make videos about something and it gets crushed and I look like an idiot, I will make updates on that as well. I'm not just trying to show the winners, because I think it's important to stay accountable to everyone that watches you. And so, as always, guys, best of luck. Continue to crush it in the hobby, and I'll be back here in a new video soon. I'm out.